All right, so match 2. This is Startail August versus Yugioh. Oh, I just said both their names. All right, there's our Red Terran. Who is he? Big surprise, it's
Startail August.
Well, their names are at the top anyway.
That's true. I suppose it's not a big surprise. It's like spoiler alert. There he is.
Spoiler alert, you're watching the
Startail
GSL.
August. Surprise. All right. Only 2 names. Oh, interesting. One of the few Koreans I've seen with only 2 names.
Yeah, a little bit weird. Unusual, I should say, not weird.
No, he made it to the round of 16 last time. So we'll see if he can do a little bit better this time. He was taken out by Lenok, I believe it was. No, Lucira, I'm sorry. Lucira took him out in last season's Code A.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty one-sided affair, too. It was 2-0.
Yeah, he keeps getting to the round of 16 of Code A and then losing. So he keeps staying in Code A, but not actually winning.
And here's his opponent. A beastly blue Zerg from the Team Slayers. He is
Slayers Yugioh.
Slayers Yugioh, or Yugioh, as the name says there. Apparently, there's Yugioh. I don't know what he's got in his deck today, but
this is another guy that's been around a little bit. He's been in GSL before. He was in Season 3.
Yeah.
Actually knocked Rainbow out of Season 3 before being beaten by bit by bit.
Oh,
bit by bit.
Getting all in by bit by bit.
Beaten by bit by bit. Say that about... Well, actually, don't try saying that 5 times fast. He actually got back in, though, because he, after Season 3, he did really well in the Code A tiebreakers, secured a spot in Code S, beat Line, and then had to face Sterlizer. And that was the end of Code S for him until getting back in now.
Yeah, get another shot to get up to Code S. He's, we're going to see if he's improved a little bit over last season. He didn't really do the best last time, but we'll have to wait and see. Looks like a pretty early command center going up for August, so while 1 racks expand, Yugioh did see it start, though, so he can know what's going on there. Looks like he's going to try to steal the gas for a little bit. And that's a good thing to do, too, if you just want to keep that drone alive for a little bit longer in the base, kind of keep track of how many Marines they have. A lot of players will just send all their Marines to attack, and you can judge by the number that you see kind of what they might be doing.
Yeah, we did see a pool first again here from Yugioh. Going for some early lings. No gas.
Oh, let it finish. Oh. Wow. Huh. He actually let the gas finish. You actually don't see a lot of Zergs doing that. That may have been a little bit of a mistake, or maybe he just did decide to let it go.
I wonder, he actually, even though that, he's only taken 1 gas, August can go ahead and get the other gas if he wants to. It stops him from maybe getting double gas towards Banshees or something like that to follow up. But also, he's going to be able to see how many Marines August has for a little bit, depending on how many are attacking the Extractor. And he can see that he only has a couple Marines at the moment, so that's kind of important.
Well, the more I think about it, the more I like that he did that gas steal. The reason is because, like you mentioned, a lot of Terran openings that come after the fast expand involve getting 2 gas right away. So if you only have half the gas you normally do, that really, really slows you down. So I'm kind of curious to see how August is going to adapt his build to kind of fit that. Right now, Yugioh a little bit ahead in the psychological game, possibly. Interfering with his opponent's opening as best he can. Now he's getting Zergling speed right now as well, getting his queens up and running, getting the Zerg base optimized for maximum efficiency.
Yeah, and he's running up Lings as well. I like this move. It's a really good thing to do. You prod the front, you see what shoots at you, then you run away, and then you get a good idea of what army composition your opponent has. And also, if you run in there and there's very few Marines, then you can expect tech.
Yeah.
So you can see if they have Marines and Marauders, or how many Marines, and if there's not many, you can kind of expect something to follow up.
Yeah, kind of seeing what's at the front, like you said, is a really good way of seeing what sort of tech the opponent's going with. Yeah. Actually, when I used to sell insurance door-to-door, that was my strategy too. I went up to the door, see who shot at me, and then depending on how that went, I would either go back or leave really fast. So
it's good.
Yeah. So now
1 Marine got caught outside.
That does happen sometimes. Luckily, Overlord needs to make a run for it. It's going to be just fine though. I believe, very close.
40 HP.
Just 40 hit points. Looks like there was a Marine that caught a little bit out of position there as well. So far, things are pretty standard. It looks like August, though, decided to go with more of a bio-heavy play instead of going for maybe, really fast tanks or possibly Banshees, like you mentioned. Because usually don't see, fast bio after that. Usually you do see the 2 gas, get the tanks going. just because straight up bio against Zerg isn't really the best in a lot of cases, especially in a fast expand build, since it hits a lot later.
It looks like Yugioh, he's actually going for similar to what Violet did in our previous series. He's getting the melee weapon upgrades for his Zerglings and getting a Roach Horn down, so it looks like he's going to go for Roach Ling, basically. Mass Roach Ling, although only off 2 base. He does have that macro hatch up, though.
Yeah, that's something that's a little bit surprising me, too. Just because the third on this map is a little bit tougher to hold as a Zerg player, but you usually don't see that macro hatch so fast.
20 Zerglings just made.
Oh, boy.
That would be 3 rounds of larva spawns on 3 hatches there, all Zerglings. And that's what led me to believe Zerglings as well, that macro hatch. You don't need that early on if you're making tech units, but if you're making cheap Zerglings, you need that 3rd hatch for extra larva.
So probably going to see a Baneling bust, and this is so smart by Yugioh, actually, because here's what you do. You steal the gas, prevent them from getting that many tanks early on, and then you can Baneling bust them. Really smart move by Yugioh. So we're going to see if it works. There are 2 tanks out, and Siege mode is going to be finished. Yeah, so I don't know if it's going to work, but I do like the idea behind it.
He's actually hiding his tanks, although Overseer is going to come in here. In the main base of, there we go, Yugioh is going to spot everything.
He's the tanks, so we're going to have to see if Yugioh is going to change his strategy or if he's going to continue going with the Baneling bust, or at least just have a lot of Banelings, get Mutas, and go, standard Muta Baneling Ling.
Another round of 28 Zerglings being produced, in addition to the many, many Zlings that are all out on the map. Oh,
he is starting to spire, though, too, so. Yep. Now, it looks like August may be thinking about moving out here. And August does play a pretty standard TVZ. He doesn't do really anything out of the ordinary that I can remember from any of his games. Just plays straight up Marine tank. Coming up with a pretty strong push. Oh, but the Lynx might get in the base. Surrounding the Siege tank and the Marine. There should be enough Lynx to take that out. And it looks like some SCVs might be gone too. Those Lynx in a perfect position to counterattack. And August may go for a base trade.
Both players attacking each other. These Zerglings going to work on it. He's going to lose every single SCV.
Yes, he will.
And that army that we see right now heading into the natural expansion, he has to get it done with that army. Siege is up. There are some Banelings morphing in the main. He's going to rally more Zerglings to that and attack all at once to try and kill this army. He knows that if he kills this army and saves his main, he will win the game, but this is a strong army. It's going to be very difficult to deal with. He does have Stim, but he hasn't used it yet. All Marines still at very full health.
Yugioh's going to leave a lot of, or lose a lot of Banelings coming down that ramp. He needs to be very, very careful. He may want to wait until the tanks actually move up the ramp as I go through puberty again for the 2nd time, apparently.
August has lifted his main command center. That's how bad this is. He has 2 floating orbitals. He's trying to float off to places, but it's not going to happen. He needs to win with this army. He is shelling. There's a lot of Banelings. Looks like about 20 Banelings in the back. He's waiting until he gets as many Zerglings as possible. There's 10 more, and a Nidus network going up in the back as well to try and escape. Maybe he's going to try and escape his drones to his other base.
Maybe. Nice spread by August. August is handling this attack beautifully. He knows right now that Yugioh has nothing that he can do to take out those Marines. Oh no, some Banelings going down. For Yugioh, and I don't think this is going to go very well for Yugioh. Those Banelings are going to have to perform amazingly to win this for Yugioh now.
Yeah, August has a beautiful spread too. Here he goes. Zerglings going in first to take the hits. Banelings coming from behind. Looks like they might be able to take out. Oh no! He actually exploded all the Banelings manually, but it looks like he might be able to clean up after all. Yugioh saves his base and a few drones, and August GG's having nothing back at home to use. Wow.
Players Yugioh, I was not so sure about that. I mean,
that was close.
All right, so August did lose all his SCVs, but Yugioh looked like he was in a terrible position as well. I didn't think he had enough Banelings to handle that, but he certainly did.
Yeah, and coming in, he had that extra hatchery outside at his 3rd, made more Zerglings, and came in from the back with those also.
Yeah.
I think that actually sealed the deal because it was very close. It looked like there was a few Marines left. But,
either way, a really close game.
Yeah.
For our first set between Yugioh and August.
Very well
between
played.
a month of the year and a card game / cartoon that I've never seen. Have you ever seen Yu-Gi-Oh?
I have not.
Oh. So much for those references.
I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, oh, I should make a Yu-Gi-Oh joke. And then I said,
Don't you think?
I have zero knowledge of Yugioh, so apologies to all you Yu-Gi-Oh fans that were hoping for some.
All I know about that
Some
show is that
puns.
the kid has like a really high voice, and then he like powers up or something, and then he looks the same, but he has a low voice. I don't know.
So it's like an anime where he can activate puberty.
I guess so. Well, the less said about that, the better. We're going to move into our next game, and it's going to be on Metalopolis. So good old standard map, of course. And the first game was kind of weird, too. It's kind of a weird game. The gas steal really messed up August initially. And Yugioh had kind of an interesting build himself as well. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe not a fair representation of those players. So we're going to have to see if something else happens.
Let's check
get
out
inside.
game 2.